My videos are like very, very, very unserious and like chronically online.
You're a curator of this underbelly of the internet. This is a real genre?
Yeah.
YouTube poop
YTP,
videos?
YouTube poop.
I need a translator, and I'm on the internet a lot.
90% of things on the internet probably start on TikTok. Everyone who is watching content on Snapchat is like a hostage.
You film on your iPad?
Sounds absurd.
So there's a crop of young creators emerging right now that were born into the world of the internet. And as Ben of the Week calls it, they were chronically online. I consider myself someone who knows a lot about YouTube, but when I came across Ben's videos, I really couldn't understand what was going on. I became a furry, 4 million views. 24 hours with the vegan teacher, 9.4 million views. Being a mom for 24 hours, 3.6 million views. I think Ben of the Week shows us what the next generation of creators looks like. He has over 6 million subscribers, and he was just nominated for First Person Creator of the Year at the Streamies alongside Eric, Danny Duncan, Sophia Nygaard, and Ryan Trahan. In this conversation, we talked to Ben about his rise on YouTube. We learn about what motivates him as a creator and learn more about the origins of the internet subcultures that he taps into to drive millions of views. This episode is sponsored by Discord. Now, something that's really cool as creators is that our community has really created their own culture within our Discord server. And these subcultures that we're talking about are emerging in Discord communities. Our server is a community of creators from all over the world. We have channels about thumbnail feedback, video feedback, discussions around creator news. We have a whole forum dedicated to questions that people from the community come in and answer. We also have channels that are dedicated to local areas, so you can meet creators where you are and set up collaborations. Discord also has features like live audio rooms where you can chat with other people in the server. They also have stages where Colin and I have held AMAs and brought guests on stage to talk to the server. As creators, this really helps us build depth within our community and get to know the people who are watching our videos. And we also get to diversify our revenue streams. Discord allows us to launch paid channels and server subscriptions, so we can create premium content or BTS content and put it behind a paywall within our server. And creators like MKBHD are already doing this. And the best part is that it's a 90-10 split, with the creators getting 90%. So if you're a creator and you want to join our Discord, the link is in the description. All right, now for our conversation with Ben of the Week. Yeah. Check.
Hello.
Checkity, check.
Okay, Ben. I spend quite a bit of time watching your content, and I spend a lot of that time trying to figure out what the subject matter is that you're talking about. You have 11 million followers on TikTok, which is substantial. That's a lot of people. Your origins are in Vine, is that right?
It was YouTube and Vine at the same time when I first started just like throwing random stuff up on social media. Like I started my Ben of the Week channel like in 2013, which is like also kind of
10 years. This channel's been up for 10 years.
So you were 14?
13 or 14. Yeah. Okay. I can't remember. I think it was like May. So
13. Okay.
The like minimum age, I guess. Yeah.
Wow. And what was the impetus for posting content? Like why did you want to post videos?
Well, my channel is called Ben of the Week because I was going to make a collab channel with my friends in middle school, and it was going to be like Ben of the Week, Cole of the Week, Jessica of the Week. But then they all like just didn't do it and like dropped out, and I just like never changed my channel name. So that's where the name comes from. But I don't know. I just like always watched YouTubers growing up. Like I was never like really into TV or anything. I was like very much chronically online. So I always thought it was just the coolest thing ever to be able to create and have like a distribution platform that wasn't reliant on like anyone else. Like you don't have to, there's no gatekeepers.
Yeah.
So that was always like a big draw for me.
At 13, that was a draw. Like you were like, I don't want any gatekeepers in this career I'm going to build as an entertainer.
Television executives as a 13-year-old that's failing math.
But did you have like a performance bone? Like were you like in theater or something? Or like what? It was just watching other YouTubers that made you want to post?
I think it was like mostly watching others. Like I was in theater, but I was like very, very shy. And the internet was like very much like an escape, which I think it is for like a lot of people.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the main draw was like seeing this thing that could like potentially like take you out of like your small town and like your small world and you know you can create videos for like people everywhere.
Oh, cool. Who were some of the YouTubers that you watched growing up?
I mean, I was really into like Shane Dawson, PewDiePie. I would like run home from school to watch like PewDiePie, especially when he did like like he would play The Last of Us or the Walking Dead series, and I was so addicted. I like would sprint home to watch it, and that kind of like knowing that you can create and have people that like that invested was like so cool to me, and like the thought of ever like being able to do that one day was like a dream.
I think it's so interesting to think about like the experience of being an audience member is what gives you the craving to be the creator.
Yeah.
Right? Like you were so into PewDiePie and that experience that you were like, I crave doing that for other people. Like the experience I'm having, I want to give that to others.
Yeah, definitely.
But I also loved what you said about like escaping your town. Like YouTube was the escape. That's such an interesting perspective. When, you know, as you started posting, when did it start picking up? Was there a moment where you were like, oh shit, I'm kind of good at this?
I mean, it was honestly like because of TikTok, like the only reason why I got any traction. Like from 2013 to like 2019, it was just like me trying all sorts of different random stuff. Like I'd see something trending on Twitter, it'd be like, BTS got canceled for this. And so I'd like make a video like putting my 2 cents in for like my 30 viewers. And I like never had like a niche or anything. And I still kind of don't. Like I kind of make videos on whatever. But yeah, it was only until like 2019 when I started TikTok and my videos started blowing up on there. And I was able to like convert my audience from there onto YouTube. Like I'd make like mini versions of like the YouTube videos that I was making.
Yeah.
I had one where I bought like a crab from a grocery store and like released it into the ocean. I had like the little bite-sized version on TikTok and then like had the full version on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I think I like really just like the algorithm loved like all the people coming over to my YouTube channel. So
Where does that idea come from to buy a crab and release it into the ocean?
you've never walked into the grocery store and thought like you belong in the ocean?
Only with lobsters
was
at
gonna say,
restaurants. I think that
Yeah,
lobster
red
would
lobster.
probably prefer to be
Something that's
in the ocean.
interesting is if any of my high school friends are watching this, then they know that was something we did when we were in high school
No
with a
way.
lobster, but not to an audience. We just did it because we thought it was interesting.
It was funny.
We were just like, that's interesting to like free a lobster.
Yeah.
Like you walk, because I think you walk into the grocery store and you're like, they're all in jail and they're about to get killed.
Yeah.
So
Let's free them.
let's free them. And we bought one and released it.
You know, people tried like canceling me for that because they're like, you bought a freshwater crab and released it into the ocean. But
Right.
I did my research. It was not a freshwater crab. They were like, the crab experts were like, I see the markings on that crab.
No,
That's
when
gonna-
big crab comes to get you, it's
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah, watch out.
Crab is
Watch
scary.
out, big pharma, big crab is what's going to
Crab is
happen.
what's
Yeah,
scary. So what do you think makes that like a viral idea on TikTok?
I mean, I think it's kind of like similar to like what Ryan Trahan does so well, which is just like, it's like things that anyone can do, but you just like wouldn't do it for no reason. Like,
Yeah, I totally noticed that with Trahan and like especially his short form stuff. But it's like these small thoughts that he makes into really big deals.
Yeah.
And that juxtaposition of like such a menial thing to make it into a big deal and then make a production out of that, but do it in like a lo-fi way. There's something about that recipe that's so, I don't know, it's so engaging.
Also lends itself really well to satire, which is a lot of what you do, right? Like to take something minuscule and blow it up to an obsessive degree is like perfect satire.
Right.
And like with my TikToks, I like they're all stories that are like very much like obviously satire and like fabricated. Like I had this one video where I pretended to like flush what do you call like the frozen
Oh, dry ice.
dry ice.
Frozen air?
Yeah. Or is it like
I only know because I
What?
just watched this video. So there's no shot I would have been able to make that connection with frozen air
I was gonna come to it
I had
eventually. I just needed like an accelerator.
just seen this.
I did like a video where I just like flushed it down the toilet and then pretended it like flooded my neighborhood, like long story short. And like so many people thought it was real. And I threw in like so many kind of like dead giveaways that it was like satire. But that's what's so interesting to me about TikTok is like there was this big shift from like 2020 to now where it was like all jokes and like memes. And now it's like everything's taken at face value. So I had people like genuinely mad, like you caused property damage in your neighborhood.
In that exact TikTok, you say, I have extra dry ice because I bought human organs.
Yeah. Like
So
you
like
would think
you
that
would think
be-
someone's like, wait, what? Like that's the opening line. And if you believe that, you'll probably believe the entirety of the TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I remember really coming across you, was the vegan teacher stuff. You made 2 videos about the vegan teacher. And what really struck me was the title was like, I confronted the vegan teacher, kind of a strange thumbnail of you like sitting across from a woman and like millions of views, like millions and millions of views. And I was like, what is this? What am I looking at? So I was curious, like how you describe the content that you make.
So that vegan teacher video was like a 44-minute kind of like this really kind of colorful portrait that just ended up being like enough to make a kind of documentary style video. And like we had like not beef, but like we had drama in the past. So like I knew like people, especially like my audience, would like be aware of her and the drama.
But where does that culture come from? Like what is the subject matter of the vegan teacher? That comes from TikTok, right?
It comes from like everywhere because, you know, there's like the primary vegan teacher stuff, which is like her TikToks. And then there's like the countless amounts of people that like make videos on her. And like one thing about her is she loves like making videos about other people. Like she will just actively look for someone like eating beef or something or like dairy, and then boom, like there's a 20-minute video on like why you shouldn't eat meat. So it's like very easy for YouTubers to just like get content out of that. And I like had done that before. I like did the kind of cycle of like, oh, she made a video about me, I make a video back. And it was like, I don't need to be like having drama with like a 60-year-old woman. So that's why I wanted to like kind of make a more nuanced video when I met up with her.
I want to ask like the reason for you going out to meet up with her. And I think it may have to do with at the very end of the video, you titled the piece, The Jester's Privilege. And then you give a little bit of a definition of that. Can you explain like why did you put that at the end of the video? What is the jester's privilege?
I mean, I don't even know if it's like a real concept. It's just like one of those Wikipedia memes that goes around. But it's basically like if you just make so many insane videos like she does, no one's ever gonna like actually get past the insanity and like listen to the message. So like I myself am pescatarian. I like try not to eat as much meat as I can and like cut out dairy and all that. But I knew we were kind of like on the same side. So I wanted to see if I could get like that message across and like show people that, you know, just because like the way she's messaging like veganism is like a little insane doesn't mean that the actual message is bad.
My interpretation of that was that you were the jester. And it was a note to say like, don't take any of this too seriously.
Okay, interesting.
Like I'm just a jester going out to meet all of these different people. Like
I definitely feel that like, because like my videos are like very, very, very unserious and like chronically online, and I do like all sorts of like insane stuff, especially like in the past. But yeah, I guess that is an interesting take. Yeah, we both have jester's privilege, I guess.
Yeah, is that how you would describe yourself? As like I love the term you just used, chronically online. It's an interesting term because when I look at your stuff, it's like, you know, vegan teacher, even as we're talking about it, like there's going to be so many people listening and watching this who are like, what the hell are you guys talking about? But millions and millions of people know about it. And it feels like you've tapped into subcultures of the internet and brought them forward through comedy. Do you identify as like a comedian, or like is humor just the storytelling mechanism that you use to explore these subcultures?
I wouldn't say comedian, like I've like tried stand-up before and it was like real crickets in the audience. But, you know, I just love like tackling whatever thing I want to tackle with like a little bit of comedy, a little bit of spice, see if I can make it funny. And like sometimes there isn't. Like I'm working on a video right now where like I literally don't know if there's like any comedy to be had. And that's been like an interesting challenge because it's like very foreign to me. But yeah, I mean, I think it's fun to have a little bit of silliness and everything.
Yeah. There's like safety with comedy, especially in storytelling. Yeah. I feel like a lot of comedians, even Jon Stewart, John Oliver, whenever they get pressed on something, they say like, hey, like I'm a comedian. Like my job is to make jokes, not to deliver the news or real journalism. Yeah. Even though they are able to use comedy to actually get real points across. Yeah. And that's kind of what I look at with you is like, comedy and the way that you film it, the lo-fi nature is sort of like a safety net and an approachable way to get audiences into maybe bigger messages.
Definitely. And like I'm no like journalist or anything. And I know a lot of people just like come to my channel for like comfort and like a fun little video to watch. So like I wouldn't want to just always have like the subject matter be like dark and serious. So I like to, you know, just pad it a little bit, make it a little softer. Yeah. Some laughs, some giggles.
Do you remember your first brand deal? And what was it?
My first like actual one was probably like Love Sack. They sent me like just a whole love sack for like an Instagram post.
Wow.
Did you get paid?
No, not for that one.
What's the first brand deal where you got paid?
I want to say it was on TikTok, I believe. It was like Ralph Lauren, I think.
Oh my God.
Through like TikTok's kind of like brand partnership team.
Yeah.
And it was such a weird video. Like I just like swung around a tennis racket for like 30 seconds to like a non-copyrighted song.
Yeah.
So it was
what was it for? For clothing?
Like Ralph Lauren. I can't even remember. I blocked it out from my memory.
That's Ralph Lauren being like, we need Gen Z to be attracted to this brand.
It was so interesting in 2019, like seeing how brands would like just try and get into the creator space versus like the same brands that I worked with back then, like how they work with people now. And it's like, you know, they're trusting the creators to let their creative vision shine and all that. Whereas before it's like, we're going to have you dance just like Addison Rae, but it's going to be to an Epidemic Sound song that isn't copyrighted.
And early on in your career, you're maybe more willing to do that.
I was like, okay, let's hit it.
Let's go.
Start it up.
There is this interesting conversation happening right now, whether it's the platforms like YouTube or brands or media companies being like, we need to connect with Gen Z. First of all, when I hear that, for me, I'm like, that's a losing battle because the only way to do that is people who emerge out of that culture, right? Like trying to approach a culture like that scientifically or by studying it, to me seems really challenging to appeal to that demographic or that group of people. Do you agree with that? Or what advice would you give to people who are trying to figure out what a Gen Z audience is into?
I don't know. Like, I think it's just the kind of thing that you can't really try to understand it. Like, I think Gen Z people appreciate more from like, say someone who's like in an older generation of them just like being themselves rather trying to like, you know, like start using like Gen Z humor. Like I was talking to this person who was, I think like probably like late 20s and was like using like TikTok algo speak in person. They were like saying like unalive instead of like dead in person. I was like,
wait, what is unalive?
It's what people say like on TikTok.
Okay.
Mostly like Gen Z instead of saying dead.
Okay.
Because it's like, you know, the algorithm will shadow ban you. And there's like other examples like there's
oh wow.
Like so using dead as in like I'm laughing, like I'm dead. Like I'm so
not
like,
so much that.
No.
It's more like for like if you're talking about someone that's like, dead.
You can't say the word dead because the algorithm.
So we're talking about someone who's actually dead.
Yeah, but we're talking about the word using the word.
Or if you
dead
like killed someone, if it's like Florida man kills crocodile, it'd be like Florida man unalived crocodile. Kind of thing.
So that the algorithm doesn't
I need a translator. I'm many steps behind.
Yeah, but that's so interesting that like what you find out about things that will be suppressed in an algorithm that creates, you know, culture, right? That creates vernacular and vocabulary that it's very hard to like study that and try and jam that in if you don't understand it. I think the term that will stick with me from this conversation for the next couple of years is chronically online because I think like what I know about the generation, you know, like Gen Z is that you guys grew up online.
Yeah.
You grew up with the internet. Like the craziest thing that I really think about this is that Colin and I lived a life without the internet. Like we were kids and didn't have the internet.
Dang.
That's kind of crazy. I know that like dates us, but it's kind of crazy that we weren't chronically online. We were introduced to something and watched it develop and then adopted it. But you were born into it, right?
Yeah.
Like you were right when you were 13, it was there and there was creators and there was a world built out. You know, like that's pretty crazy. We watched it happen. So we know what it looked like before.
I mean, cause like the internet that I like grew up with was like very like starkly different to how it is now. Like the internet now is like all algorithms and all that. Whereas like when I was like growing up, it'd be like forums. Like I was on this like forum called like YT Talk.
Yeah.
Like all day. And that wasn't like anything like curated or there was no like nefarious For You page algorithm like buying your data and figuring out exactly what you know about So it feels very different, and I feel like everyone's like growing up with it as it like grows up itself.
Would you describe your audience as like also people who are chronically online?
I think very much, because a lot of my videos are like seeped in like internet humor.
Drenched in internet humor.
Drenched,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I need a translator, and I'm on the internet a lot.
You got like Urban Dictionary loaded up. But that is one thing that I've been like trying to maybe get a little bit away from, because I really just love the concept of making videos that are gonna be like funnier for a long time, and have like a longer shelf life.
Yeah.
Because if I'm like referencing like this week's hottest TikTok audio sound, I'm not gonna remember what that was even about in 2 years. And like I'll look back at videos from like 2019, 2020 and like not even understand like the reference that I was making.
I like the idea of you being a filter though for what's happening on TikTok. The same way that you'll take something really small and make it really large.
Yeah.
On TikTok, things feel really small because you're just swiping and nothing really sticks with you.
Yeah.
But I like you taking the vegan teacher and being like, here's this thing which does have millions of views, but impact-wise can feel kind of small to the average scroller.
Yeah.
And being like, let me go deep on that for 45 minutes. Like you're, in a way, you're a curator of this like underbelly of the internet.
Okay.
Where like so many things are coming at us so quickly and you're like, all right, I'll pick one and go long.
Yeah. I mean, I really just enjoy kind of blowing up internet things into like picking it apart and like getting to see its story and where it came from. Like, I think that's why the vegan teacher thing was very interesting to me, because, everyone had seen it, everyone had like heard about it, but like there was no good comprehensive like exploration into why she is the way she is.
Interesting. What's your experience with the internet now? Like, where do you spend most of your time? Is it on TikTok, on YouTube, on like, what are you watching?
I mean, I try and be like chronically online now.
Whoa.
Ew, that sounded so cringe when
like
I said it out loud.
You're trying to be unalive.
I'm dip.
Yeah. yeah, I got it.
I'm on my news app a lot. Like, I'm not kidding. I like have a time limit set for TikTok. I don't spend like more than
What's your time
30
limit
minutes.
on TikTok?
30 minutes.
And you're telling me you don't just press the button that allows you to go
No,
back
because
through?
I got my mom to like create a code. Like I showed, what I do is I'll take a trusted person, take a barcode on a book and be like, can you type down these last 4 digits and make this my passcode for my screen time?
Wow.
So
what was the low moment that brought you to that level of self-regulation?
I mean, there's lots. It's like every day when like you've scrolled through TikTok for 4 hours and you're like, I can't have a single thought in my brain right now because I just got so much information. And it like scares me because, I don't really feel that on YouTube because you're not like sucked in like the way TikTok sucks you in. So I almost like feel bad like creating on TikTok because I'm just like adding to this like brain hurricane. But like after kind of like detaching from that a little bit, it's like crazy how like much my attention span has grown. And I'm like able to read like news app articles and stuff. Like it really is crazy. And it also makes me like appreciate TikTok more when I do have like my little blessed 30 minutes throughout the day. I'm like, wow, this is like a good little amount of content. And let me
What are you
move
into on TikTok right now? Like, what do you think is working and like, what's good storytelling? What's interesting to you on TikTok right now?
I get the most random stuff. I get like lakes, like city planning TikToks, like about like subways. And I don't know if it's like telling me that I should have done like civil engineering or something in college, but
it's weird that we view TikTok as like a deity that's like telling us something, right? Because it like has so much information on us. It's like lakes. Should I get into city planning?
Exactly.
We like view it as this like almighty being that
knows more about us than we do.
Yeah.
I saw like Julia Fox like commented on this video saying there should be a feature on TikTok where you can see other people who have the most similar algorithms to you and then like connect that way.
That's smart.
Which
That's
I think
interesting. Yeah.
Could be a good idea, but also like a horrible idea.
Yeah, that could get dark. Yeah.
That could get dark.
Yeah, it really does feel like a deity,
right.
an all-knowing power.
What do you feel like is like the I want to talk about your perspective on YouTube as a whole right now. As someone who's been watching YouTube for over 10 years, right? Who's been like a fan of YouTube for over 10 years. We put out a video that addressed like plagiarism and people kind of copying each other's content. And shortly after, you copied that video.
Headshot. Yeah. I mean, I was like also inspired by like, because Emma Chamberlain did a podcast about like original thoughts.
That was such a good podcast.
Yeah, so perhaps we copied her. Also, to set the record straight, there was no copying. This was coincidental that we just happened to put out videos about plagiarism.
Yeah, you guys can be the judge. Yeah, you guys can be the judge of that. So that one specifically about originality, because like the first couple months of this year, I was kind of like finding myself over the past 10, 11 years that I've been uploading to YouTube, I've always found myself pretty inspired by something on YouTube. Like opening up the YouTube app and watching something at least once a day that I'm like, oh, that was really cool. And the beginning of this year was the first time I was kind of like, I don't want to click on anything right now. It was almost frustrating to me. I was curious about like your impetus to make that video about originality and your perspective being a fan of YouTube for 10 years on where this world is right now and where it's going.
Yeah. I like also like kind of felt the same way about not wanting to click on videos in your recommended tab. Like there's very few videos now that just like wow me and like have never been done before. Like the only YouTuber that I can think of that's like really just making insane stuff is, have you heard of EMP Lemon? Emp Lemon?
No.
He literally started off like doing like YouTube poop videos, like just like
what does that mean?
It's like from like 2010, maybe like even 2009 YouTube. It's like just randomly edited like Simpsons episodes. Like it's
this
like,
is a real genre? YouTube poop
YTP, YouTube poop. It's like incomprehensible. It's like just sounds and like noise.
What the fuck? YouTube poop.
Whoa.
Kind
of
of
the
funny.
avant-garde like experimental film of YouTube?
Exactly. And he started off making those and was like really known for that. And then now he does these like amazing like think pieces and like video essays on all sorts of stuff. Like he literally just did one on like rogue waves in the ocean, but he'll do ones on like NASCAR and stuff. And he does it in such a way that's like, it's just things that I would never think of like watching, but like I know it's going to be good quality because I know it's from him, and he like blows my mind every time.
Wow.
That's the amazing thing about the video essay genre in general. If it's done right, it answers a question that you didn't know you wanted an answer to.
Exactly.
Right? And it's like, I didn't know I was interested in one of the mascots from McDonald's, but turns out actually I am. It's pretty interesting.
Okay. The YouTube poop thing you just brought up, I want to go deeper into that because
let's address the stink in the room.
But I'm curious if there's other, like from when you first started watching YouTube to now, if you have like clear thoughts of other genres or other moments in time of YouTube history that you could describe to us. Like I didn't know about YTP. Like what are some of those other eras that you were aware of that like I look back and I think in pretty broad strokes of like, vlogging and then, like the challenge era. Like, but what were some of the eras you were aware of?
I mean, like from the get-go, like Minecraft.
Yeah.
Like I loved Minecraft even before YouTube. And then, there was like the real kind of edgy side of YouTube that I was so tapped into. Like I was watching like Filthy Frank, Leafy, all of them. And I think that's like a side that like will probably never come back to YouTube, probably like for the better.
Yeah.
But like
Filthy Frank meaning Joji.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy that's
so
Joji?
crazy.
Yeah.
It's really crazy.
It is wild.
Like I watched that man like take the pubes of multiple YouTubers and bake it into a cake and then eat it and then throw up. And now he's like at Coachella. Like I was sitting there in the crowd at Coachella like, wow.
Yeah. Truly one of the most amazing transformations ever.
I mean, it's kind of tough to put those things together though, of like, wait, that's the guy who's now like a really talented musician.
Yeah, like a Joji music video will make you cry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same guy.
But it's similar to like the RakaRaka boys.
That's nothing for me.
Nothing
for you?
RakaRaka no one knows? No one knows.
You're alone.
Amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
The RakaRaka boys, they're brothers who have been doing pranks on YouTube for like 11, 12 years and like really nuts pranks, like kind of like Nelk Boys, pre-Nelk Boys. And they went off YouTube for a while and then they just made their first horror film with A24 and it's like the trailer just dropped and it's so impressive. And I'm like,
was that the one Talk to Me?
that's what it's called. Talk to Me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
That's made by like old school YouTube pranksters. And you're just like, wait, are all these people who came to YouTube just like incredibly creative and so tapped into these, like the style of, I don't know, just like the modern wave of filmmaking. And part of that modern wave was doing weird shit like Filthy Frank did. Like when, you know what I mean? Like, is that just what this is like we are artists that tap into this world and use this thing that has no gatekeepers, and we can just play and do insane things that then leads us to like actually making compelling art. I don't know. It's
That's
like
so interesting because it's like I think the way a lot of people kind of envision, you know, digital first creators moving into like music or traditional media is like them doing it because like their audience, like they're bringing their audience over, and that's like the draw for like a lot of like bigger companies and stuff. But I think when it's done right, like Joji and like the RakaRaka brothers, I think that's because like they're just creative, like whether it be on YouTube, in a movie, in a song, like.
Yeah, and they're just native to whatever thing they're doing.
Yeah.
You know. So outside of the edgy Filthy Frank era, what was another era that you were tapped into?
Definitely the Casey Neistat.
Yeah, of course.
Daily vlog in New York situation. Wanted to be him so bad. I was like, Mom, please buy me a boosted board.
Yeah.
It's crazy that he created so much aspiration.
I know.
Like, it's crazy to think about how many people wanted that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was so like anyone can vlog their day. And it was so funny like seeing some people, you know, be like kind of like Casey Neistat copycats, but they would do like nothing all day. And like I was one of them, like I'd make videos. I know you guys have like mentioned that you copied. This is not a dig at you at all.
No, it's a dig.
No, it is. Which is fine.
But like, no, you guys actually had stuff to do. Like I would like do Casey.
No.
I would do Vlogmas at my school and I would like go to curling practice and then go home and be like, well, I played a few games of Call of Duty and then like went to bed.
For a kid who's like really enamored by YouTube and by like social media and creators who were building audiences, when the audience did start to build, what was the emotion of that?
It was like very overwhelming because it was something that I was like trying to achieve for so long, or at least just like get more than like 50 views on YouTube. So like when it started like even getting in like the thousands, I was like, didn't even know how to process it. Yeah. And I still don't. Like sometimes I really have to just sit myself down and like look at Google image pictures of like what a stadium looks like. And I'm like, this is 50,000 people.
Yeah.
And like that is so many. And like times that for like however many views the video got. Like it's like incomprehensible.
Did you have like commercial intent ever in the beginning of uploading? Were you ever like, this also can unlock money for me? Or was it really like, I want to be a part of this world? You know, like where did fame and money lie on the interest level of creating?
I mean, I was like working at Bubba Gump Shrimp Co. when I started, so I just kind of wanted to get out of that. They had me going in like the giant shrimp mascot. Right. So it's like anything above that is like a good step. Yeah. But I've just never been like, you know, wanting to be like the biggest creator ever. Yeah. Like I don't really have like a maximalist kind of extreme capitalist bone in my body. Like I just like enjoy having like the content be the business. Like I think like AdSense is like 90% of like my revenue. So I don't know. I think maybe the day will come where I like become an amazing inventor and like come up with a product that I think could be cool. But like until then, I don't really feel like an urge to, you know, push it or force it and I've seen like a lot of YouTubers that really get their heads like into the whole money thing and kind of like lose their original drive for like creativity. Yeah. And that's always been like something I'm scared of. So that's why I almost have this like aversion. Is that a word? Aversion?
Yeah, no, that's aversion.
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 Oh, yeah, aversion.
Aversion
to getting like too businessy and stuff. Like I really just enjoy being able to make videos and have that be like, or like maybe not just videos, but like creating be like the entire thing that I do.
Yeah. When was the moment you were able to go full time?
It happened like a while after I started like gaining followers on TikTok. Cause back then, like in 2019, back in the days on TikTok in 2019,
which is relatively early TikTok.
Yeah.
Like pre-pandemic TikTok.
Brand deals were like so far and few. Like they would almost all come like from TikTok themselves. Like they had like kind of like a short list almost that they would just like divvy out like brand partnerships to. And those were like so much like smaller in terms of how much you got paid. So like a lot of like my revenue was literally just like from live streaming, like donation gifts on TikTok and stuff. And it was like that for like probably a year. Like I think like my bank account was like in the negatives for like a good chunk of 2019.
Why was that? Because you were spending on the videos?
spending on the videos and also just like travel and like, you know, like being and going to LA is not the cheapest thing ever.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you're working at Bubba Gump Shrimp Co.
I had quit by then.
Okay.
So,
So you living at home during this time?
yeah, I was living at home and then like I'd go to LA quite a bit to be with like some of my creator friends that I met back then.
So at that point, you're full-time creator. You're just not making a lot of money.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
It was like, what do they call it? Like running dry.
You were running
Breaking
dry.
even.
Yeah.
Breaking even.
Yeah.
Running dry was just so far from that.
No, I like that. Yeah.
The river was dry.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And you're running on it.
No
Yeah.
crabs. You couldn't purchase any crabs at this
Nope.
time. Yeah. Got it.
Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty much only until 2020 when like AdSense kind of started up because my YouTube was gaining some traction that I was actually able to think about it being a career. Because like throughout like I spit so much when I said that. You
That's
literally
okay. I didn't
already
notice it.
splashed
I literally
that.
didn't notice it.
We're gonna zoom into the spit as it travels across and
These like
lands.
8K
Yeah.
cameras. Like,
Yeah.
how much visibility did that spit have? Yeah, like throughout 2019, I would constantly think to myself, like, is this even something I could do as a career? Like, I really would feel the fragility of like TikTok as your only source of income. And thankfully, YouTube is like not like that. I really like do feel like it's something that people can have a career on for a while.
Yeah.
And AdSense for you was that marker of, oh, okay, I'm making enough every month
Yeah.
where I could do this full time and then eventually move to LA for a period of time.
Yeah, definitely.
What was that number marker for you of like, if I can make, you know, X $1,000 a month on AdSense, then I feel like this is less fragile.
I mean, like even like I think my rent at the time was like $1,500. So I was like, that plus food, let's call it $3,000. Like
Yeah.
that was like enough. And I think that's the beauty of YouTube. Like so many people can like make above what a 9-to-5 job would make just like through AdSense. You don't even have to have like that many subscribers to do that. Like if you have like a good like niche core audience, like I really just find it so fascinating. These people that have these like really tight, small communities on YouTube, which is like very different than how I am. Cause I'm not really like niched down to anything.
Yeah.
I just kind of like make all sorts of stuff.
Did you have a backup plan?
Back to Bubba Gump. Because I had dropped out of college before like my social media even like started up. Because I was taking journalism and I really just did not enjoy it like at all.
Go to college in Canada?
Yep.
Got it.
McEwen University.
Sounds
Shout out.
Represent.
Very Canadian.
Yeah.
This
Hey, Amazon.
This happens every show.
this is-
Yeah. Welcome.
Thank you. That's a bit. He's about to walk in.
He's about to walk in, yeah.
Beat
And
you
it's
up.
going to be
And
Ryan
you open up a
Trahan.
box and it's a 10 million subscriber play button. And you guys went to Google and rigged the numbers. So I hit it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that during the pandemic that you were at
No, it was
college?
before.
It was before. Okay. So you were just like, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
I'm going all in on social.
Because like I just like really just picked a random degree to like run with. And one of the flyers for McEwen was like, we have podcasting course on podcast. And I was like, well, that's like the closest thing to YouTube. So let me do that. And it was so bad. It was, I just was so not passionate about it. They had me doing like grammar classes for like 3 out of 6 of my courses for each semester. It was rough.
And you were really averse to those grammar classes.
Yeah. And I had like really didn't even like make that many friends in college because it was like more so like a community college than a university. So there was like, my class was like half like 40-year-olds. It was like, hey,
Yeah. Got it.
hey, Deborah, kind of situation.
Yeah. Okay. Classic Hey Deb situation. Got it.
What was your first YouTube video to like go beyond the like thousands of people who are watching as you started growing?
It might have been the crab video.
The crab video. Wow.
I think I also made a video where I made like a fake TikTok house and like DM'd a bunch of celebrities. It was all the kind of stuff I made like around early 2020.
Got it.
Yeah.
And that stuff like started to get into the hundreds of thousands of views. And
Yeah, but those were all like very much driven by like me promoting it on TikTok. The first time I like found success like just from YouTube was like these Zoom hacking videos that I did where I would like join people's Zoom classes from like the codes they gave me. And I like cringe at those now because it was like the most obnoxious like content ever. Like I'd join and be like, make a little goofy fart noise. And then when they're like trying to do like a yoga class. So like I just like privated them all.
it's almost
because-
very Nelk.
Yeah.
Nelk
I
was doing that.
I know. I like watched your guys' video on that and I was
Yeah.
like, damn, we were really in the same vein there.
Yeah.
And like one of those videos even has like, I think 16 million views, but
Of yours?
yeah.
And it was a short or a...
No, it was like a full length YouTube video.
Oh my God.
And I have it privated because I'm just like,
Yeah.
I like cringe
I
thinking
think
about
that's
it.
it is something that's interesting because like I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but when you're starting and you're like you get a little taste of like viewership, you're willing to do, you're trying to optimize and figure out like how do I do that again or do that on a bigger scale.
Yeah.
Rather than optimizing for like who am I as a creator.
Definitely. And like I would have people like come up to me and be like, when are you hacking another Zoom class?
Right.
I'm like, never again.
Yeah.
And that was a really interesting experience too, because, you know, 60 million views on YouTube is a lot, but I was like getting like TikTok videos with like 20 million, 30 million. And like almost every time like someone recognized me, they would talk about like my YouTube there. And my TikTok platform was so much bigger, but like the audience that I had on YouTube at the time, which I think was under 1 million, was like so much stronger than what was on TikTok. So it was a weird
Like,
kind of...
Were you noticing that like a community felt like it was building on YouTube compared to TikTok?
Yeah, definitely. Like I just kind of was like known on TikTok, but like I actually had a community on YouTube of people that would like know me beyond like my videos. Kind of.
How do you know a video is successful? Is it a metric for you, or is it people reaching out to you, friends, other creators? When you look back at some of your videos, what does success look like?
I mean, I think honestly, like having like friends or like even people that I look up to reach out is like the craziest thing ever. Like when I released like the vegan teacher video, there was so many people that I was like such big fans of that were like DMing me being like, oh, I just watched this. This was like so interesting. And I was like crapping my pants in the corner like, how do you know I exist?
I think for an honest fan of YouTube, that is the success metric because I've felt that in our career. Like there's been multiple rewards, right? Whether it's viewership metrics, subscriber, metrics, revenue, like dollar amounts, and nothing compares to someone you respect reaching out and respecting your work.
Exactly.
And I think for people who became enamored with the platform and what it, like the creators on the platform, that's the reason to create, is just to like join the crew, right? Like these people who live in your head as like these really cool, almost imaginary figures because they're just on the screen, and then you get to bring them to life through becoming contemporaries with them. That's that's a strange and exciting reality.
And it's like evergreen, like that kind of motivation because like, you can chase like subscribers till the day you die, but having like people that you look up to reach out and be like, I really love this video. Like, I thought this was really cool is like insane.
It's insane.
Not to name drop too much, but is there a specific example that you'd feel comfortable sharing of someone who
like,
reached out?
like I'm such big fans of you guys. I watch every freaking video.
I wasn't fishing for that compliment. That was not a fish for a compliment at all.
We're in the deep end. Like obviously you guys, but even like Ryan Trahan, like he's the reason why I like started TikTok.
Really?
Yeah. It was through like, cause he made a video where he was like becoming like TikTok famous in 24 hours. And this was like when TikTok was like a baby.
I remember when he made that video.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, let me try it. And I downloaded it. And like, I probably wouldn't have downloaded it back then if it wasn't for him. So,
yeah, I think you can see a lot of the inspiration from Ryan in your videos. Like there's so much of that element where Ryan has figured out how do I take you through something and bring you like the most raw version of me in this process, where some other creators would be like, too much of me and my personality gets in the way of the story. Ryan's like, at this point, I feel like sometimes the story is second to Ryan's personality.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a unique relationship.
Do you do your own editing?
Yep. Final Cut Pro till the day I die.
Okay.
Really?
So you and Ryan both have this lo-fi style, but if you spend time really looking at it, it's pretty intricate.
Yeah.
How with the sound effects, the music, the crash zooms, the text treatments, the effects that go on it. How difficult is it to be lo-fi?
I mean, there is a lot more that goes into it than it probably appears. Like every kind of crash zoom, like your keyframing, like where it's gonna go, like keyframing it one way, keyframing it another way. Like sometimes we'll just spend like 10 minutes on like a 3-second clip of it, like zooming into my face for like no reason. But I don't know. That's why I kind of love Final Cut Pro, because like this really sounds like a ad for
Yeah,
Monica
yeah,
Brown. But it's not sponsored.
But it might be.
But it could be.
Yeah.
Who knows?
It could be. They could reach out. Yeah.
Tim Cook, like, hit me up. But I think because it's not the most advanced editing software, it's kind of like the elderly cousin of iMovie. So a lot of the kind of lo-fi-ness is built into that, and it just comes really naturally. Like the basic text title thing is literally just like what I use.
But I've noticed sometimes like you're out of focus, right? Like, and I wonder, is this intentionally lo-fi? Does it add something to your story
Like
to
yes
go
and
to
no.
such lengths to be lo-fi?
I mean, I film on my iPad. Like I set my iPad up on like the
You
stand.
film on your iPad?
If I'm at home,
That
I film on
sounds
my iPad.
absurd.
Because like the screen is big. The on the iPhone I can't see what's going on.
Sure, of course.
And like I've tried with cameras before, and just like for me personally, like
Wow.
I get so lost in like the technical side of things. Like I just started using like lavalier mics for like a day and like hated it. And I'm
And
like,
you're the only person who says the full name of those mics too.
lavalier.
Yeah,
I was like,
lavalier.
let's throw a lav on 'em,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, that's great.
Interesting.
So it's like half intentional. It's like half stubbornness,
Yeah.
but half like realizing that it works. So if it's like
Yeah.
not broken, don't fix it kind of situation.
Like don't add friction to your process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's moments where I just want to feel like it's actually the creator.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and I think you can feel that with your stuff, that it's like actually you. It's your comedy is coming through the edits too, right? Through the text treatments, through that lo-fi stuff. Like
Yeah.
that is part of the comedy and part of the commentary. So yeah, I can't believe you shoot with an iPad. That's like the crazy. I
It's the
think
first time I've ever heard that.
I think that's the
iPad kid
crazy.
till the day
that's
I
the craziest
die.
thing I've
Wow.
ever heard. Yeah.
Do you see yourself adding team or changing the way that you make these?
I don't. I really like sometimes want to, especially when like it's like midnight and I know I have like 10 hours left of editing and I want to get the video up by like 8 a.m. Times like that, I'm like, damn, I wish I had an editor. But I am just I would be so hard to work with, I think, on one hand. Like, if I had an editor, they would be getting like files at like the butt crack of like midnight, all this other stuff.
The butt crack of midnight.
Butt crack of
The
midnight.
worst time to get a new file.
Exactly. Yeah. Not any other crack, not an armpit crack, just a butt crack. And just like, you know, showing some of the ropes of like how I edit it'd be hard for me to like pass on the reins, I guess. And I'm like such a control freak when it comes to editing. Sometimes like I'll even argue with like how I edited it myself earlier. Like say I edit on a Monday and then like finish it up on Tuesday. I'm like, what was that guy thinking? Like
What was Monday Ben thinking?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there are like some kind of team aspects that I think I could like branch out to, like maybe getting someone to help film. Like that's something that I very much like can't do myself sometimes.
Someone to hold the iPad.
Yeah, exactly.
With an iPad.
Yeah.
Making sure it's charged so I can play games on it after.
There's also the argument though that by only going by yourself, you're able to get more comfortable access
Yeah.
to your guests,
Exactly.
right? You add someone else to the mix with a camera and that person is always aware of the fact that this interaction is being filmed.
Yeah.
But a lot of times like your phone is at your hip.
Yeah.
You know?
Like when it's just me, I can be like, oh, I'm filming to show my mom. But if I have like a camera crew or even just one person filming, it's like kind of like a dead giveaway. And like I don't think I'd be able to do like the vegan teacher video if I had like anyone but myself with me. So
What's your appetite for taking risk? I watched the video where you go to the border of North Korea and you're in the demilitarized zone.
yeah.
And it seems like you went by yourself, right? No one went with you, right?
I got like a tour. I went on like Expedia and just found like a random tour guide.
Okay. Where does that idea come from? And what is your appetite for risk when it comes to making these videos?
I mean, I think I always, whenever I make a video, it comes from like a genuine want to just like explore something. Like the North Korea thing, I'd be like 12 years old, like Googling like, can I fly to North Korea kind of situation. So it's always something that I want to do. And a lot of them are like more kind of crazy things, like the North Korea example. But I think my appetite for risk is like, it's probably higher than most people's, but it's like for certain things, like I get so scared doing any sort of like social thing, like even just like DMing another creator and being like, hey, not that this is even how I do, but like, hey, want to collab kind of situation, like is the scariest thing for me. I've like never done it. So I get like scared in like different ways, but North Korea strangely is not one of them.
Not one of the
Okay.
scary things for you.
But your Omegle in real life video.
That was
that scary because it's a social interaction?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we got a lot of interesting people there. Yeah, social interaction is something that definitely YouTube has like helped me get over it. I used to be like the most introverted, most awkward person. But it's helped like at least 10%.
Do you feel more comfortable with like Ben of the Week than you do with Ben in real life?
Yes, I think. I think like if I can, if I'm making a YouTube video and I'm like filming something, I can almost get in a mind state where I just remind myself frequently that like social interaction is not in fact scary and talking to people will not kill you. But that kind of has also transferred into my like regular life, and just like ordering at a restaurant isn't as bad.
Interesting. The difference though is that not to spin you more into being an introvert, but the difference is that with YouTube you can edit yourself, which I think is, a really interesting part of being an editor and being a creator is like you start to learn, especially if you are the editor, right? So you're filming yourself, then you're watching yourself back, and then you're editing yourself. You get to create a version of yourself for everyone to see. But in a real-time interaction, you don't get to do that.
Yeah.
It's like live streaming. Right?
Yeah.
Not to pull it back to the internet, but it's like, it's a real life thing that you can't be like, okay, actually that was weird. I shouldn't have said that. Let me edit that out. Or, okay, that face I'm making is kind of weird. Let me zoom in over here instead, right?
Yeah.
So it's like
if I was editing this, that little spit bomb I had earlier would be deleted faster than you could say Final Cut Pro.
Right. When you look at some of these other platforms, like what do you think you and your community and your audience are tapped into? Like is Instagram still kind of a thing? Is Twitter relevant to you? Is Snap relevant to you? Like how do these platforms rank in relevancy?
I see Instagram is like still pretty relevant. Like it's fun to just like play around on stories. And I think that's where like a lot of people and like my friends specifically kind of have fun with Instagram. But Snapchat, like I feel like everyone who is watching content on Snapchat is like a hostage because we have it downloaded on our phones to like send each other Snapchats.
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh, I accidentally clicked the stories button. Now I'm watching David Dobrik give like a freaking Tesla for like the 400th frame of his Snapchat story. And I don't see
watching Snapchat as a hostage is a crazy thing.
I don't see like it having any like cultural weight or anything. And not saying that like every piece of content has to be like written down in the history books. But it's like with Snapchat, it's just so fleeting.
Yeah. It reminds me of like the layers of ads on like the walls of like the subway tunnels that have just been like ripped off. And like as you're getting onto the subway, you're like, oh, there's a million things. And then you're like, okay, see you later.
Exactly. And it's like for Snapchat specifically, like I think people like creators are mostly drawn to it for the money. Like, it's fun to post stuff on your Snapchat story. It's not fun to post like 400 frames of what you did throughout the day. So like I love having like all these different social media platforms that are like kind of very different how I approach them. Like my TikTok is so different than my YouTube, which is so different than how my Instagram is. But now like for Instagram, I just kind of use it like casually. Like I'll just post like a create mode or like a meme here and there.
Yeah, you posted something this morning that just said WH. What did that mean? What did that mean?
I don't know. I was trying to like type something on create mode and then like the text just like finalized and I was trying to like write like what something and it's just WH. I'm like, let me just throw it up on there, see what happens.
Wow. That's wild.
I know, like comedy basics, take notes.
But I feel like in the world of today, like Balenciaga sees that and is like, yes, like that's what we need.
Right now, just WH, like, every single shirt
this
has
weird
WH
connection of like fashion and like Gen Z internet culture.
I can't stop thinking about being chronically online. It's just like sometimes weird stuff happens where like someone makes a mistake and it's like, whatever, and puts it up. And then that feels like a part, like that becomes part of subculture where like all your fans maybe start saying WH randomly, right? And then that becomes a thing. And then that like you make merch that says that. It's like there's these weird things that just accidentally happen online that you kind of have to be there for. It's a series of inside jokes, right? And then that inside jokes create incredibly tight bonds in communities and cultures.
Yeah.
And then that's what like fashion for some reason in this moment is like tapping onto, and like the world of luxury is also tapping into that, of those like inside jokes. It's so interesting that these worlds are interconnected.
Yeah. And like with Gen Z kind of humor, it is like kind of inside jokes.
Yeah.
But you know, sometimes like it just has like an inherent funniness to it. Like some of the memes I see, it'll just be like Peter Griffin, like dead on the floor. And I'm like, that's funny. I don't even need to like know like the context or anything. I'm just like,
Just that is funny.
it'll be like a 144 like by 144 like low quality image of Peter Griffin just like, and like I think like to boil down like Gen Z humor is just like anything can be funny and like everything is funny.
That's too big of a box for me. Anything can be funny.
Anything is funny.
That's insane. What's your experience like with YouTube Shorts?
YouTube Shorts like always just blows my mind. Like the discoverability is insane. I got in like really early and was like posting shorts. I don't know when I started, like 2021, I think. And like some of the shorts I post on there, like some of them are posted like also on TikTok and they have like 2 times the views on YouTube Shorts. I think it's like really interesting because that's like something YouTube needed was like a TikTok kind of feed situation.
Why do you think that?
I think, you know, sometimes you don't want to watch like, you don't want to have to do the work of like searching for a video. It's nice to have things like recommended for you. But I think YouTube Shorts right now is like still very much in its like infant phase.
Yeah.
It doesn't really have as much of a culture as I think it could.
Yep.
Like TikTok when it first started off was like barely had any culture. It was like furry wars and like everyone referencing like the hit or miss. Like these are all like very dead memes.
Sure.
But I like hearing them because I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. But I'm gonna go look them up because I don't know what the hell you're talking about. The hit or miss?
It's like this like hit or, let's not get copyrighted here. But like,
let's do it. I'm willing to take
hit
the
or
copyright.
miss. I guess I never miss, huh? It was like the Mia Khalifa diss, but then people were doing dances to it. To wrap that whole thought up,
sure.
It was like very just like there was no culture there. But you know, with YouTube Shorts, like I see it like slowly getting to culture. Like there's things that are like content styles that are growing on YouTube Shorts that you don't see on TikTok.
Yeah.
Like what is it called? Like double it and would you rather?
Double it and give it to the next guy.
Yeah, stuff like that.
That originated on YouTube Shorts?
I feel like it did. Maybe it didn't.
Yeah.
All I get is lakes and
Still
civilization
on
earring
YouTube
on
Shorts.
TikTok. So I don't know what's going on over there. But
Like I feel like it's obvious that YouTube wants to try and be a culture driver like TikTok was through YouTube Shorts.
Yeah.
Or like TikTok still is. What advice would you give to YouTube on how they can foster like culture like that or become a culture driver with YouTube Shorts?
I mean, like I think where YouTube has TikTok beat is like definitely with community.
Yeah.
And with TikTok, like you can follow someone and like never see them again. But with YouTube Shorts, like you can discover someone's content on Shorts and then like go to their channel and see like longer videos, long form videos, get to know them more personally rather than just like seeing a fleeting short. So I think like that is a very good benefit to posting on Shorts because it can be a lot stickier.
Yeah.
Whereas TikTok, where you can literally follow someone and never see them again.
And have like you've grown to or a little over 6 million subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
Has that largely been from Shorts, or has that also has a lot of that growth come from long form content?
A lot of it was from Shorts. I think like I want to say like at least like probably like 2 million of my subscribers are from Shorts. Probably
that's amazing.
more.
Yeah.
And like I haven't even like really posted. I was posting like a couple a week when I first like saw that they were really taking off. But you know, it's like slowed down a little bit more. And I think a lot of the subscribers come from long form too now. But
What's your most viewed short? How many views is that?
it's the dry ice one. I think.
It's also your most viewed TikTok, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one did numbers for some reason. People really like the buying human organs bit, I guess.
Yeah.
That was chaotic.
I don't know. I think they got like maybe 60 million on Shorts.
Wow.
Maybe 50 million on TikTok.
Do you still see TikTok as like a culture driver? Like, is it still driving internet culture?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's like probably one of its biggest strong suits is so many things start on TikTok, memes, culture moments in general. And like so many people are on TikTok. It blows my mind every day. Like to me, it's like still this app from 2019 that like maybe 1 million people are on, but like it's like my mom is on TikTok, and that's like so scary. Like knowing my parents are like
That's pretty wild. Yeah.
scrolling through TikTok aimlessly.
Yeah.
I think there's more creativity on TikTok than shorts and reels because the incentive is higher on TikTok. Not financially, but like culturally. Do you want to be actually on the main stage of like American culture?
Yeah.
Post to TikTok. Try and succeed on TikTok.
Yeah, that's
Right?
interesting. Yeah.
If that were to shift, then I think people would start creating elsewhere. But in the current moment, it's like America's Got Talent. Like every day, right? And it's like,
Definitely.
it's like a talent show.
yeah.
Yeah. That's
And the other
interesting.
platforms are like a side room.
I feel like every 5 years we kind of get like a new social media platform.
Yeah.
And I think TikTok is still like riding off its like 5 years. So I don't think there'll be anything that everyone needs to hop on for like a little while. But
Be Real still hot?
it's lukewarm. It's like my
lukewarm.
tea right now.
Yeah, lukewarm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like fun. It's not like a content
There's no
creation
pressure
app.
there. Yeah.
I know you collaborated with MrBeast. What's your relationship with him, or what was that like to collaborate? Because you've done it a few times, right? Collaborating with Jimmy.
The first time it was in like the heat of the Minion
Minions,
meme
yeah.
when the Minion movie came out, and it was just Minion frenzy, like Minion bonanza.
Yeah.
And his like short form team like reached out to me and was like, would you be willing to like drive a giant inflatable Minion from LA to North Carolina? I was like, sure. All right. And then that ended up not being the case. Like they just shipped it over to North Carolina and didn't rely on me to drive a U-Haul, which would have ended disastrously.
Sure.
But I was still in the video. It was like super fun. We were just like killing a giant Minion. We had like spears and stuff.
Unliving. Yeah.
It was so crazy. Like I think back on it and like I really have to like look at videos and pictures to like remember that it was real. Cause I was with like 2 other creators too, and they were just so chill and so fun. And we were all just kind of in like a collective shock. We're like gonna be in a MrBeast TikTok.
Yeah.
And then it ended up being like 3.
Yeah.
And we also like got to spend some time with Jimmy, and he's just so chill and like so down to earth. It was really crazy.
I liked that even the YouTube video was in a way satire about people building large things and delivering them to MrBeast. You know, like that even in itself was kind of commentary on like
on an internet
on actually
subculture.
like a subculture that is pretty prevalent. Like, let me make something oversized and give it to someone.
I didn't even realize that was like a whole kind of thing. Like, I kind of feel like that like feeling of like maximalism on YouTube is kind of peaking now. Like, and kind of giving wave to like the new wave YouTubers and, you know, your Moist Criticals, your Marcus Brownlee's just like talking into the camera.
It's funny that Marquez is considered like part of the next chapter when he's just kind of been here the whole time, like doing kind of pretty similar, you know, like he's kind of like stood his ground and just been like, I'm this dude, you know, for a really long
New
time.
bio, I'm this dude.
I'm this dude.
Yeah. But like he plays in and like does like, I feel like he's innovating, but he innovates within his own, like he's very stable in his innovation, which I really appreciate. He doesn't really get swept away with like other things. And I think those are the creators that will probably last, you know, for a very long time, who are just so unapologetically themselves and just like, this is who I am, this is what I do. I'm just going to stay steady and keep doing it, you know?
I like on TikTok in 2019, I got like really exhausted because I hadn't like found like a footing on there. I was just like making videos based off like any trend or any dance. It was like so soulless for the most part. And then in 2020, like I developed this, I like started doing this kind of format where it was like skits, like minute long, satirical skits, let's call it that. And that was something that I really liked doing and could like reproduce, and it wasn't reliant on like whatever state TikTok was in. I could like bridge off of it. Like there could be like a funny moment in culture that I could like make a video out of, but it wasn't like fully reliant on like a TikTok audio or, and that like brought me like a lot of comfort knowing that I could like do that.
Are you comfortable if TikTok gets banned?
Yeah,
You're
I'm
just
chilling.
You're chilling.
I'm gonna miss my little subway planning videos in my lakes.
Yeah, sure.
I'll have to find a YouTube creator.
But YouTube doesn't give you that stuff. You know, like I feel like YouTube Shorts doesn't send you.
Yeah,
like,
neither does Reels.
Yeah, neither does Reels. Like they don't have the breadth of content yet, and like the way to serve it to you, and you know, where you're just like, oh, I guess I'm a lake guy.
Yeah.
You know,
But you know, like if TikTok gets banned, like I think it's called like the Restrict Act. They have all this other like stuff in it being like like it wouldn't just like hurt TikTok. It would like hurt pretty much every platform. So like that worries me. But if say like TikTok just disappeared itself tomorrow, like I'd be a little sad, but I wouldn't be the saddest person.
It wouldn't impact your earning potential.
No, I don't think I really, because like accounts made on TikTok that were made in Canada, you can't get the creator funds. Like I've never gotten like a dime from it.
Wow.
Yeah.
But brand deals on TikTok, are those?
I think the last time I did that was like last year.
Okay.
Brand deals in general, I just don't do that often.
Why is that?
I mean, mostly just because like AdSense is like enough. Like making my content on YouTube and that just being like the main source of income has been like more than enough. Sometimes like it makes sense, like a brand partnership, and I like think about it, but for the most part, I just kind of pass them on by.
Yeah, there's something to be said for also making it the way you want to make it on your own time without any reviews.
Yeah, because the second you add like a brand partnership, there's suddenly like a timeline.
Yeah.
There's like creative control, and those are two things I like hate to give up.
And perhaps 1 to 2 minutes that is not actually part of the story you intended to tell.
Yeah, and we got to optimize for what do they call it? Retention. So.
Yeah, it's amazing that AdSense is like the cleanest form of monetization on social, because it's like you're not, whoever is running on your channel, you're not talking to them. It's not like you're going through revisions with them. It's just like the ad plays and then you get a check.
Yeah.
It's like such a clean cut. But you need to, in order to do that, do like, millions of views a month, in my opinion. I mean, you could do hundreds of thousands and make a living, but yeah, for it to be substantial, you have to be doing significant amount of views.
Yeah, it definitely like, cause I see like creators that are like starting now and like their AdSense checks are like $200 maybe. And they're like getting like a good chunk of views. Like it's like 200,000 viewers per video, but it's like still pretty low. So like I'm lucky to be able to have that as like my main source of income.
I want to ask now that you've sort of like arrived, and even the fact that you can kind of like make a decision of like, do I want to go down the fashion route? Do I want to go down this route? How much do you think about the next 5 years and how in control of your career you either want to be or not be?
I think about it a lot. Like it kind of like haunts me sometimes. I'm like, what's next? What are we gonna do? But I think it freaks me out a little bit less now, because I just know like as long as I have like a space to be creative, like I will hopefully be okay. Whether it's like making a documentary that like might even be like off YouTube or something, and just like kind of building like connections with people who are also creative has been like really cool for me, because that can lead into maybe producing things that aren't just like YouTube videos. Yeah.
What do you mean by be okay? Like when you say like, I'm going to be okay, is it like you're going to be able to express yourself? You're going to be able to take care of yourself? Like
just not have to go back to Bubba Gump, I guess. But just making like a living, like being creative, I think is like a really insane gift that I get to have that I want to hold on to.
Keep.
Yeah.
Do you think your videos on YouTube, like your library, is substantial enough now that you could take a long extended period to work on a project and still make a living?
Yeah, probably to make a living. I think like I'd take like a month off max. I get like antsy if I'm not making videos, because I've been pretty much making like weekly videos like since I started the channel. Like I think
in 2013.
Yeah. So
you feel like you've disappeared in a sense.
I feel like I just have nothing to do. Like it takes up of so much like what I do each day. If I just like stop making videos, I think I'd just like play Fortnite for literally 28 days straight. So
that's so interesting. I've been thinking about this because, we started making videos in 2011. That's when I uploaded my first YouTube video.
Dang.
And I'm not positive that there's been a week of my life that I haven't thought about making a YouTube video. Whether it's actively working on one, planning one, ideating, watching another YouTube video to get, inspiration. Like, I'm not positive that, I don't think there's been a week. And I've been trying to think about what those, 11, 12 years of my life, like what has that done to my head? Like my creativity, my brain, my personality. Have you ever thought about that? Like making a video every week for 10 years. How has that shaped you?
Yeah, that was like a fear I had like last year. I was like, do I have an identity? Do I have like an actual personality outside of like making videos online? And then like because like YouTube was like my hobby for the longest time, and then suddenly, boom, it's a job.
Yeah.
And it like doesn't have the carefreeness that it once had. So I like found new hobbies, and now I like lakes. I like just playing city
TikTok
skyline.
showed you like lakes.
My hobbies are
City
dictated
planning.
by TikTok. Yeah.
And so like I think that was like really helpful, just like finding new things to be interested in. And one thing that I used to like always kick myself on was like not making like a gaming channel or like gaming content, because like I'm the biggest Minecrafter. Like I love Minecraft, and I see like some of the Minecraft creators like who are just flourishing because I had such a moment in the past few years. But I'm like, if I like started making content on that, then it like wouldn't be my hobby anymore. And I don't know if it would be as fun. So I'm like kind of glad that I kept it as like my little baby, and no one can watch me play Minecraft.
Can you talk a bit about like the YouTube being a job, or like content creation being a job, and how has that changed over the years, your relationship with making video?
It like sometimes feels very present that like this video that I'm making is the thing that's like keeping me eating and a roof over my head. And that can be like a scary thought. So I try to like compartmentalize all the business thoughts for like small periods of the day. Like I'll have like my email answering hour or and then so that just like removing as much business from it that I can, so that when I'm actually making the videos, like it just feels like I'm making videos the same way I would in like 2013.
What does your team look like on the business side?
I have like a management team, and then I have like an attorney to do all the contract reading and all of that.
Did you make the decision to bring on the attorney, or was it like you brought on the management team and they were like, you should probably have a lawyer?
Like, you should probably get one of these guys.
Good.
I was like, okay.
Great.
And then I also have like a publicist team.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And what type of opportunities does the publicist team bring you?
I got like a Newsweek article, which was crazy.
We got a clip out of you upstairs from like
yes.
Some
17 magazine.
14 magazine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
of like 5 ways to get into Ben of the Week's heart.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you have any advice for creators who are watching this show? Because as someone who watches this show, watches our channel, being a creator yourself, is there anything that you think like, oh, I'd love to share that?
You want me to give some creator support? The new podcast by Colin and Samir.
Thank you.
You don't need anything to like start a YouTube channel. Like I still film with my iPad. You know, like equipment is not something that you need to worry about right off the bat. And also like don't compare yourself to others, because like sometimes I'll like really just be like comparing myself to the trajectories of other YouTubers, especially when I was like starting off and thinking like, oh, why is my channel not acting like this? I've been doing YouTube for a year and they've been doing YouTube for a year, but they have so much more. And like, that was kind of a rut I got myself into like when I was just starting off, and it's like very unproductive. Like it doesn't get you anywhere. And like what you can do best is just like find your strength and whatever thing you do. Like even if you like don't have a niche, like say you really like Hot Wheels cars, like okay, like you can branch out into that niche, become the best Hot Wheels creator. But like even if you don't have anything, like I'm sure there's something within your personality that you could apply to a certain niche or a certain interest of yours. Like you have to be interested in something out there.
Sometimes we, use some time at the end of the pods to like, if you have any questions for us, and like, not to be like the elder statesman, but like, we have 10 years on you. Like if there's any things that you're facing right now that you're like, damn, I want to workshop that.
Yeah.
Doors open for that.
I was wondering, like, I know like a lot of creators talk about like building like relationships with brands.
Yeah.
And I know you guys are like really good at that. Like some of like your brand partners, like you guys like really stick with, versus like a lot of people where it's kind of just like a one-off thing. I'm wondering like how you go about that. Like how do you kind of like build a relationship with a brand?
I've learned in my career of like building brand relationships that like, if you enjoy having dinner with the people, it probably will result in a long-term relationship, because so much of that experience is like, do you want to spend more time with these people solving problems together? Do you want to pick up the phone and call them when certain things are, maybe not going well? are they going to be receptive to that? Do you want them to call you when they need to solve something? Like, if that feels like a relationship you want to have, then it'll probably grow.
Gotcha.
But you have to invest the time. I think that's one of the challenges of like, as you grow and you get a manager or an agent, is oftentimes they're the ones managing that relationship. And there's a step removed with you as the creator. But the way I see it is like these, you know, we went from probably having 10 to 15 sponsors down to 3 or 4.
Oh, wow.
And that's what we wanted, because it was like, I want to work with a small, intimate group of people who are on the same page as us and have the same mission as us. I also think it gets a lot easier when you understand kind of your mission statement. Like, why do you exist in the world, right? And so for us, as we kind of started to understand ourselves as, okay, we're a space that, you know, opens the doors with content creators and like is set to educate other content creators, to tell stories about that. That then allows brands to come in who have the same mission, right? So who else has that mission? They can kind of come join us and be a part of our world.
Gotcha.
I think it's important to acknowledge that there are 2 of us, though. And so, of course, we have team around us and edit support and everything. But there are a lot of days where Samir is in the office right over there on the phone with different brand partners, because it just takes time.
Yeah.
Like, that relationship building takes time. And I'm upstairs in the office at a computer editing, right?
Yeah.
So like, we have a little bit of that luxury with the 2 of us. So I think for
Gotcha.
you, like, the relationship that the brand wants, if it's going to be long-term, is with you as an individual. So you have to think about, how much time can I actually allot, and can I communicate with the brand through the time that I do have available?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys get to be double trouble.
Yeah, exactly.
Fair competitive advantage.
New name of the channel, Double
Yeah.
Trouble.
Double trouble.
Yeah, but I could see you like going along with one brand,
Yeah.
you know, like one brand who really understands you and just like, you know, you have a good relationship with them, and that's the one brand.
Gotcha.
You don't really have like a formula, right? That you're like copying and pasting to the next video.
Yeah, not really.
Not really. So you're kind of like starting anew every single time. You're like, ooh, this Amish thing's interesting. I'm going to go explore it. Oh, what's that like? Oh, okay, that was totally different. No humor in that one. How are we going to do that? You know,
Yeah.
like you're sitting at a computer kind of discovering it for the first time. So that's very different. That requires a different type of mental space than, you know, I have a format that I'm just like, I'm doing.
Yeah. I mean, like, I've just never like really felt the drive to like really pursue that, because like
Sure.
I've just been lucky enough with AdSense to have
Yeah.
it like be my whole business. And also like I don't have like a team that like I really need to like financially support and stuff. But
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think you need to be that person, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think if right now AdSense is paying the bills and keeping you going and allowing you to be this creative person, like, you're 23 years old, you have time. Like, you can explore where this takes you, and maybe you end up becoming like a director or like a creative that's, you know, making movies or doing something totally different, like plugging into a whole different industry.
yeah.
You know, like being a creative person, how that works is like you have an agent and they book you on different projects where you're a creative person. You know, like
No brand partners at all.
no brand partners at all.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, can you help us make this movie? You know, or hey, you have an idea for a movie, we're going to get some funding and go make that movie, or make a TV show, or make something for a platform, make something for Netflix. Like,
Yeah.
that world also exists. And I think sometimes we forget about that world. We think so heavily in the world of advertising, and like we're building media surfaces that advertisers are a part of.
Definitely.
But that's just because that's how YouTube works. Like, you're using it as a tool to express your creativity. It can go a whole different direction.
And that's why like I always find it so amazing when people do like creator companies like Feastables, Chamberlain Coffee,
yeah.
stuff like that. Cause, you know, it usually stems from like a genuine love for like whatever product they're creating,
Yeah.
like Emma Chamberlain Coffee,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
match made in heaven. I was gonna ask you guys, like, you don't have to name drop, but
Yeah.
how often do you see like creators make like a creator driven brand or product, and it just really feels like a money grab, and like they're not behind it? Because I feel like
Yeah.
I see it quite a bit.
I think you can tell, right, when that
Yeah.
happens. And I think one of the biggest challenges is that the amount of people that emerge when you are a creative person that's creative work builds an audience. The amount of people who emerge who all of a sudden are connected to your revenue is a very odd thing that happens. Like, the people who can kind of come and be like, I can make money off of you being creative.
Yeah.
It's an odd thing that happens.
It's very strange.
It's very strange. And it's accepted. And it's, you know, there's good people who do that. There's a lot of people who are very opportunistic when it comes to that. And I think a lot of creators who are a little bit afraid of the cycle, who are like, I need something else beyond the cycle. I'm going to need something, right? Because maybe one day the cycle stops. I don't come up with ideas. Maybe the algorithm doesn't like me anymore. Maybe I just don't want to make videos. So like the natural model is I need to build something else.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of people who are surrounding our industry who are like, Ben of the Week, you got 6 million, let's make something together.
And I say, stick it, Buster.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah. I don't know why I did like a 1950s kind of New York guy, like Ben of the Week. What are you doing? Are we doing it?
I'm just making a YouTube video.
But yeah, I mean, I'm sure you've been approached, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's been like some good offers, some bad offers.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's unlikely that there'll be a moment in your life where you're like, I'm going to retire from being creative.
Yeah.
You're just creative, and you're expressing yourself. So I think that's the thing, is that you have to look at everything on very long windows. I used to look at things on very short windows and be like, if we don't do this right now, we're screwed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But when you extend that window to being like, I'm going to live the remainder of my life as a creative person, everything gets way more chill. Because you're like, this concept doesn't have so much weight on it. I'm still going to be creative in 10 years. Even if it's not this, it's going to be something different.
That's very true. That's very comforting.
Yeah, if this goes away, I'm still that dude, as Marquez Brownlee says.
Yup.
Yeah.
No, but you are that creative person. You came up with this stuff. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't take advantage of momentum when you have it, because momentum's hard to create. But you shouldn't fear the lack of decisions that you could make. Yeah.
Yeah, I do think what's important though, as you do bring on partners and you start to trust people, whether it's like for a new endeavor or just to help you on your channel, you want people who want you to succeed, but can afford failure.
Yeah.
You never want to bring someone on for a new endeavor who needs that new endeavor to pay rent.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's a new endeavor. And it's, again, like you said, it's number 2 to your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And so people need to know that. And you don't want that pressure of someone who's like, Ben, I need you to do this for this company.
Yeah.
But you're like, that's my number 2.
Yeah.
I can't.
That's my
That's
number 2.
Yeah, that's my number 2. Exactly.
I really did not need to insert a fart.
No, I think you did.
Toilet joke. It's like the 5th one of this podcast.
I think you
I'm
had
so
to.
sorry,
You
y'all.
couldn't not.
Yeah. You had no other choice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you hang out on Reddit at all?
Here and there.
Here and
if
there.
I'm like
Okay.
trying to like pirate a movie.
Nice.
I'll be like, where can I watch this movie?
Yeah.
Reddit.
Reddit
And
has
then they
that.
got the
Yeah.
goods.
They got the goods.
By pirate, I mean watch on a pirate ship.
Of
just
course.
so everyone knows.
Yep.
Like, that's what pirating means.
Oh, that's good, man. I'm going to call you for all my like internet subculture needs now.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
just going to
I just literally made that
I'm
up.
just
That's
gonna-
not a subculture.
That's not a thing? Okay.
No.
I don't know. Everything you say, I think is a thing. And I'm
Yeah.
like, shit, I should know about this
damn, I'm
pirate.
so out on
Making
that.
it a
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
We're making history here.
I'll just be texting you weird stuff like, what's WH?
Is that a thing?
What was it again? Yeah. Cool, man. Well, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much
Thanks,
for
man.
having me. This
Yeah.
has been such a dream.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
This is awesome.